Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our December meeting of the OPP Detachment Board. I believe 3 of you are in person there in the council chambers. Myself and Member Stryker are online, and I believe Member Brown is joining us online. And we have Cindy here as well, and Spencer. So I believe attendance has all been taken, and we'll see Member Brown when he joins us. We have an agenda here before us today. We have a purpose here today to go through a couple of things with respect to the budget, but is there any other additions to the agenda at this time? I would just have one follow-up piece to add with respect to the 2024 budget. And perhaps we can do that at the end once we get through. And I believe is Staff Sergeant McTaggart in the room?
Through the chair to the chair, I did just receive an email from him that he should be joining shortly. I just resent him the Zoom link.
Okay, thank you. So if that's okay, we'll add that 2024 clarification or question at the end. And with that, is there anyone that will move to approve the amended agenda? Mayor Bailey, thank you. I can't see. Oh, thank you. All I can see is the backs of your heads, folks. So I'm sorry if I get that. There we go. Touchdown. Thank you, Councillor Pierce. That's seconded. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Do we have any declaration of pecuniary interest at this time? Seeing none. We have no delegations, petitions, or presentations. So we'll get right into the minutes from our last meeting on November 26th. Everyone's reviewed those. Is there any errors or omissions? If not, we can have a mover to approve those. Councillor Pierce, thank you. And seconded by Member Boudreau, thank you. All those in favor? And that's carried. Any business arising from the minutes that won't be discussed later on here? Okay, seeing none. So let's get into then the first report that we have that Cindy's prepared for us regarding the 2025 budget for the OPP Detachment Board. And Cindy, I'll let you take it away from there.
Okay, thank you. Through the chair, good afternoon to members of the board. The report before the board today, I think, is fairly straightforward and reflects the discussion that the board had at the last meeting. The draft budget includes a few changes in terms of accounting. We've reallocated some of the funds from training and development to traveling expenses and meals for some more specific accounting of expenses. There's an overall additional $2,500 allocated to training and development, as well to reflect the additional community representative and 2 new board members, and a new account for postage related to the mail out for the newsletter. I did receive some additional information following the meeting from board members regarding specific items for public relations and awards. So those have been captured in the draft budget. That includes the Youth Academy, community sponsorships, emergency services golf tournament, holiday appreciation from the board, summer barbecues, community engagement opportunities, and the newsletter publication as well. There's a one-time fund in the draft budget as well for the board's consideration, and this is to potentially sponsor the 2025 Special Olympics. The report does attach some more information on sponsorship packages, but I did receive some information from the local detachment through Inspector Quinville, and we understand that there will be a similar request to the Brantford Police Services Board for a $5,000 one-time sponsorship. And you will note in the report that a significant portion of the 2025 increase is related to the new structure and requirements of the new board under the new act, so just over 50%. The remainder of the increase is related to the proposed sponsorship of the Special Olympics and the increase to training and development for next year. And that is the highlights. So I'm happy to take any questions that the board members might have.
Thanks, Cindy, for that overview. And at this time, Councillor Pierce.
Thanks, Madam Chair. So just very quickly, I guess, circling back to the mail outs for the, now that I'm thinking the postal strike is kind of over for now. Is that going to happen again? Or I know there was discussion as to, will it be too late, this and that. So are we going to do that? Because my understanding is they're all ready to go. It's just a matter of getting them into the mail. So what's the latest on that? Because that'll adjust things as well, right?
Yeah, so through the chair, the 2024 newsletter, I was in communication with our communication folks last week, and they had got information that the strike was likely going to come to an end. So they've been given direction to get all those printouts ready to get mailed out. And it looks like that's going to happen by the end of this week. So all of those printed copies will be mailed out to residents across the county.
Okay, follow up if I could, Madam Chair. So
Perfect.
That being said, that's going to adjust the actuals for 2024 then, correct, on that for that line, or is that already factored in there?
Through the chair, so the actual mail out piece, I don't believe has been factored in. I'm just having another look at this. No, so the costs associated with postage are not reflected in the 2024 actuals.
But they will still be within that the stated budget, correct?
They will be reflected in 2024. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any questions for Cindy on the 2025 proposed budget? Member Stryker?
Yeah, through the chair. So at the last meeting, my understanding is that we approved a limit of $1,000 as a holiday thank you appreciation gift for our members. And in the budget, there's $700 for next year going forward. So that's $300 less. Is that correct?
Through the chair, yes, that is correct. And that amount was arrived at through some discussion with the current chair. And I know she has gone out to purchase the holiday gift for this year and may be able to speak to the approximate cost that's associated with that.
Yep, thanks, Cindy. So I guess the notion here is that it reflects the actual cost. So we have a limit up to 1,000, but it was 600, I think, with when we got taxes included. So we're trying to just reflect the actual cost of what we propose it to be. We can certainly leave it with the limit if that's what the board chooses and give us some flexibility. But yeah, I guess we went with what was actually the actual cost that we had incurred this year.
Okay. Since it's a budget, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the proposed 2025? If you could just, yep, thank you, Member Boudreau.
Yes, through you, Chair. I'm just trying, so I saw the list of additional potential charities, and obviously I see the amounts here. My question is really twofold. One question that I raised last time we got together in our last board meeting was trying to understand what our board is allocating in funds and whether or not we are mirroring or potentially duplicating funds that are done by the county itself. That may not be a bad thing. I just think it's something we should consider, knowing, as I pointed out in the last meeting, that all of those dollars come from the same source in the sense of our taxpayers? And would they appreciate multiple entities within the county donating to the same one? Maybe, maybe not. I guess I'm just trying to get an understanding. Is it possible to find out what the county is at least proposing in these similar things, or as we come closer to the decision to actually allocate the funds, know what that is? That leads me to the additional question and related question, which is the decision we're making today is not in fact to for sure give $1,000 to the youth community sponsorships, et cetera, but rather this is the proposed budget and we may make additional decisions, yea or nay, as we move forward. Question. Thank you.
Okay, so part one, we'll leave that with Cindy to confer with where there may or may not be duplication. But from my personal experience and my time on the board, just for some insight, most of these things are specific to the work that we're doing as a detachment board and wouldn't be duplicated necessarily by the county, maybe with the exception of the Special Olympics, considering it's a one-time unusual event. But I'll leave that for Cindy to follow up with us on at the next meeting. Part two, so our job today is to review and approve a proposed budget request. And then the county council will then deliberate and decide, obviously the larger budget discussions that they are going to have. And then we'll find out what that final budget looks like, from which we then can discuss. But following up on some of the work that we talked about previously in breaking out some of these items, it was just to help us understand so that it wasn't all lump sum one line item and not knowing what each of those things were. So Cindy's broken that out into the different line items for us, which is helpful. And then breaking out the postage from the actual printing. And then, of course, we have our insurance that we have to cover as well this year, which we didn't have to in the past. So, Cindy, I'll let you follow up with that, make sure that we covered everything there.
Yeah, through the chair, I would agree with what Chair Haley said, just with respect to what the county may be funding versus the board. When I look at the list of items here, these are really specific to the board in terms of funding opportunities, with the exception of the Special Olympics for 2025. The county is supporting the 2025 Special Olympics and had a delegation, I believe, at our meeting last month with a request from the Special Olympics for some services in kind. So, for instance, our paramedics will be supporting some of the events without a charge. And some of the venues, the fee would be waived, and staff will be volunteering for the Olympics as well. So that one in particular, the county has already indicated through council funding support for that. So this would be something in addition to that. And as far as the proposed budget, again, agree with what Chair Haley noted about the process. If the board does approve the budget today, it would be forwarded through to the county and the council would review what's been submitted and either approve it or if there's questions or if there's something that comes back. I think the act actually outlines the process for that, but the board's job today is to approve a draft budget to bring forward to council.
Thank you, Cindy.
Hopefully that helps.
It does. Thank you.
Councillor Pierce?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Just more of a comment than anything else, and I don't want it to be taken the wrong way because I appreciate what it is. But if we look at the newsletter and the postage, that works out to about 30% of our overall budget for the newsletter. And I'm just wondering if we can, and I don't know that there is there any cheaper way we can do it without it looking cheap? Do you understand where I'm going? even though like half of it is, $8,000 of that is postage, which is, we can't do anything about that, I don't think. But I'm just, like I say, there's more of a percentage of our overall budget on that newsletter than there is on our total part-time earnings, right? So I'm just curious. Again, I appreciate what's in it. I appreciate what it does, the information that's there. But I'm just wondering if we could have another look to understand, is there any different way we could do this that might save us some money?
That's a great point, for sure, that we can, Cindy, I'll let you answer that maybe, but.
Yeah, I mean, through the chair, certainly with the recent strike, we've had to look at other ways of potentially distribution. And our plan B was to have the newsletter available online and have as much publication and notification around that as we could, and draw people to view the information online. But then also have some printed copies available across different county locations, be it, our offices, the detachment, perhaps the libraries. So if somebody did want a printed copy, that would be available. So the board could look at a different strategy that way and potentially look at using online as the primary method of accessing the newsletter, but still have potentially, some printed copies available for people to pick up. That is one option, because the costs are quite high. So,
yeah,
but I'd leave that to the board to have some more discussion on.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up, Madam Chair. And as I say, I don't want to not publish something, but I think it's prudent that we look at potentially other possibilities. I must admit, as much as it was a quick shift to have to think about doing it online and stuff like that. When the postal strike came along, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, that just saved us many thousands of dollars in postage. So it's a give and take thing, right? And then there's always the thought as well that, I'm sure there's some houses that we deliver this to that unfortunately comes in the front door, out the back door into recycle, right? So if we could do the happy medium of getting it out there on all our, social media resources, our communication, the county's communication team is fantastic, and they could butter it up, so to speak, and get the word out there. And then I just like the idea of potentially, having some at all the different sites and stuff. Just food for thought anyway, as we go forward.
Councillor Pierce, are you comfortable for now leaving it as leaving the budget as proposed, and then but still coming up with some pivot ideas and some different options for 2025 once we have a chance to kind of reconvene on that?
Yep, I know this is just a draft budget. Right. It could change. Yep.
Pardon?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. Yeah, this is the draft budget. It can have some changes to it after the fact. So yes, I'm totally good with that.
Yeah, I know that Cindy and Inspector Quenville and I had talked to the communications team with the county, who've done a fantastic job with putting together the newsletter and coordinating all the logistics of getting it out. And I know that there's concern about there's some residents that really insist on that hard copy piece, and others are happy with soft copies, electronic copies, what have you. So, finding those solutions and finding a different way of delivering that to everybody, I think that's a great idea. And, if that can save some time and energy, that's a benefit too.
Yep. Thank you.
Member Stolker, I think you had your hand up as well on that. Did you want to?
Yeah, through the chair, I just wondered if a mass email could be considered as well. Like if there were email addresses associated for tax purposes and things like that, property taxes, if we could somehow send out the correspondence using email.
We can ask the county what the requirements or parameters are around that. I know there's probably some rules about what can and cannot we can use our email addresses for, so we can look into that as well in the new year. Any Anything else on the budget itself? Any other questions? The proposal? Everybody's comfortable with the information that Cindy's provided to date? Okay. Is there anyone then prepared to move this forward? Mayor Bailey, will that be a motion then? Thank you. So seconder then to approve the, thank you, Jim. Member Brown? Thank you. So we have the motion and the seconder then to approve the draft budget as presented. I'll call that question. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you very much, everybody, for that work. And thank you to Cindy for putting all that together for us. And we'll look forward to hearing back from council in the new year once the deliberations are complete, so we know what our plan is for 2025. So with that, then my additional item, I just wanted to clarify, similar to last meeting when I mentioned the piece about the holiday cheer for the OPP members. So back in February when we approved the final 2024 budget, we were the County of Brant Police Service Board, and as we all know, it was dissolved, and we kind of adopted the remainder of the 2024 budget since our first meeting was in October. But just to confirm, one of the items that was in the budget that we approved, which I believe was no more than $200, but I will ask Staff Sergeant McTaggart if we have any questions, was a VIN reader. If you recall, it was a piece of equipment that would help with the reading of the VIN numbers. It was approved by the board, but of course we were dissolved. And given that it's still 2024, I'm just checking in with the board to see if that is still something that we're comfortable moving forward with in 2024, similar to what we did with the chocolates. Different piece, obviously. And there is, Cindy has confirmed that there is the funds available should that be the desire of the board. So just taking the temperature and checking in on that so that we can give the direction to the OPP as to what we want to do about that. Councillor Pierce?
Yeah, I recall that. I'd move that we still stay forward with that. Yeah, I think it was like 200 or 200 and change or something like that. But yes, yeah, I'm in agreement with that.
Any questions for Staff Sergeant McTaggart? We're good. Member Stryker?
I just get some history, seeing as I wasn't there before.
Yeah, I'll mess this up, so I'll get Staff Sergeant McTaggart to explain it properly.
Thanks, Chair Haley. Good afternoon, everybody. The purpose of the VIN reader, is to allow us to track down the original registered owner of the vehicles. So what's happening with current climate when it comes to stolen vehicles, they're being professionally re-VINed. And that VIN plate you typically would see in the window of the vehicle or on the door of the car or even in the engine compartment is being professionally re-VINed with another number that is coming back to that make and model of vehicle. But there's actually a component within the engine itself, and I'm not a mechanic per se, but I know there's a plug that comes from the manufacturer that we can actually plug this VIN reader into and then find out who the original owner of that vehicle is. So to combat auto theft, this is one of the tools of the trade that we do need.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, Member Brown?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I recall this as well, and if that was a motion by Councillor Pierce that we follow through with that, I'd be happy to second that.
Perfect, thank you. So we have a motion to confirm, Councillor Pierce, that's a motion from you. Yep, and seconded by Member Brown that we, I don't know what the right wording is, Spencer, so I'll have your help on this one, but I guess confirm the previous decision regarding the VIN reader for the 2024 budget.
Through the chair to the chair, yes, I can we can do that wording. I'll fine tune with the minutes from the original motion from the Police Services Board, and yep, that's no problem.
Perfect, thank you. So without any further ado then, we'll call the question on that motion. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you, everybody. So we'll move on to section 8 in our agenda is communications, and you'll see that we have a letter. Mayor Bailey received a letter from the Solicitor General regarding the funds that will be offsetting the 2025 budget, or the costs, sorry, not budget, the 2025 costs with the billing. And as we all heard, there was funding announced for OPP police municipalities to help with the increases as a result of their changes. So it looks like the County of Brant will have an estimated $1 million or so dollars in funds provided to the municipality in 2025 that will reduce the overall billing to the County of Brant from the OPP. I'm not sure, I don't have any additional information. I'm not sure if there's any discussion on this at this point, but it's in our packages. Councillor Pierce?
Thanks, Madam Chair. So again, and I know as we received an email on this as well, similar to the letter that Mayor Bailey had. So this is confirmed. If I'm reading it properly, I believe it's $1 million that is our part of that. So instead of the 6.9 million, it's going to come right off the top. So the overall would be 5.9, and that's a guaranteed.
That's what I'm reading as well, Councillor Pierce. But I don't know, Cindy, if you have any additional information at this time, or do we need to follow up on that to confirm?
Through the chair, it's my understanding that it is confirmed. I know it was welcome news by our finance team, and will be reflected in the 2025 council budget presentations as well.
Councillor Pierce?
And so thanks, Madam Chair. So just through you. So just to confirm, that would be, and Cindy, I think you just said it, that this is going to be for the 2025 budget, right? We're not going to get it in 25 to use in 26. We're going to get it for the 2025 budget.
Through the chair, yes, this will be the amount that's reflected in the 2025 budget. The original amount was the $6 million. That's what finance was incorporating and putting into the draft budget, but it's now been reduced, which again was very positive news. So,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just for the sake of reading it out, so that those that aren't, those that are watching might not have copies of the package. The letter does state at the bottom of page 1 of the letter that the billing statement that was initially provided to you, the county, for 2025, inclusive of the increases resulting from the new collective agreement, was $6,955,072. Today's proposed billing changes will provide an estimated $1,023,069 in financial relief for your municipality, bringing the new total for OPP services being billed to your municipality in 2025 to $5,932,003. So I read that's a sure thing, Councillor Pierce, that's going to be on 2025's allocation for the billing. I don't know if there's any follow-up. That's a good, yeah, that's good news. I know that there's some politics around that with non-OPP police communities, but for us, I think that's welcome news for the county as well. Mayor Bailey?
I would just say, through you, Madam Chair, thank you, and make a motion to receive as information.
Thank you, Mayor Bailey. Seconded by that motion. Thank you, Member Boudreau. All those in favor to receive for information? Thank you. Section 9, any additional council communications there, Councillor Pierce?
No, not at this time. Unless there's anything to take back.
I don't think anything at this time. And same thing for the Zone 4 update, nothing at this time. And then just as an update, I was able to deliver last Friday to the detachment our holiday cheer to all the members and civilians for the detachment that Santa's elves will help to distribute to each of the members. So, and I got seconded into helping to judge a door decorating contest, which Staff Sergeant Matagard won. We had Superintendent Nash's daughter, she's the expert. We had Superintendent Nash's 10-year-old daughter help us, and she was the expert judge for the panel. So anyways, it was well received. Everybody was appreciative of our thoughtfulness. Anything to go in camera today? Seeing none. Thank you everybody for a very productive but short meeting. Thank you for agreeing to rearrange everybody's schedule so we could do this before year end. Our next meeting is Tuesday, January 28th, 9 a.m. in Council Chambers. And before we all sign off, I just want to wish everybody the happiest of holidays and a Merry Christmas and all the best for a Happy New Year in 2025. And hopefully everybody has a little bit of downtime to spend with your family and loved ones and enjoy the time. So with that, thank you everybody and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Merry